In today's video, we build a team that could potentially get us into the Europa League Conference League phase. We could potentially be making massive sales, and we have a new stadium potentially to talk about as well. See you guys after the intro. Let's go recap all this drama. Give it a like and subscribe. Welcome in YouTube to another video of the Rising Nation here at Dumbarton. And firstly, before we get into anything, 80% of the people watching are not subscribed. If you could please hit that big red button down below. It doesn't just help out the channel, it helps promote this content to football managing enthusiasts like yourself that want to watch these videos. So if you could do that for me, that would be great. Let's get straight into what could be a very drama-filled episode. I obviously don't know who's going to leave yet. I don't know who's going to be brought in. I don't know who we've drawn in the second round of qualifying for the Europa Conference League. All I know, I'm on the same day that Aberdeen have won the Cup, and we are officially now going to be in Europe next year. And at the same time, the board have announced a plan to build a new stadium. That is correct. At the moment, we're currently playing at the Dumbarton Football Stadium, or the Castle, as I effectively call it, because they play right next door to the Dumbarton Castle. 4,822 capacity. It was increased this season from 2,000 as well. And we have been selling this stadium out since we have moved in the second half of the year back to our home stadium. We've been getting anywhere between 120 to 130k in gate receipts, which with the finances now at 1.3 million is not too bad, but we could be making so much more. The next highest stadium in the league was 7,000 this season, if we go have a look at that. So with the board now looking to build a new stadium, even though financially I don't think it's sustainable for us to do it, and we need a lot of additional funding, I'm hoping the board can find some of those funding or a grant, stuff like that, and can get some official plans announced. There's nothing official to really talk to you about apart from the fact that they are looking to build a new stadium in the city of Dumbarton. I'm hoping that it's going to be something of 10,000 plus seater capacity that can be expanded, because I think once we get to 20,000 or more, we've got a decent sized stadium for the rest of the save. In this episode, there's going to be players on the ins. I would imagine there's going to be some players on the outs. I would imagine that there's going to be a bit of drama. I would imagine that if we don't draw any big sides, it's going to be some recapping or some qualifying results. Fingers crossed that means we're going to make it to the league phase. That's what this episode's all about. I don't know what's going to happen just yet. But what I do know is I'll probably be live on stream to do most of it. So check this little plug out. Go give the link down below a follow. When you come straight back to me, we're going to probably have the players that are on the way out, the players that are on the way in. And let's see what this new squad looks like moving forward here at Dumbarton. Something also important to capture here is part of the goals of this is getting Scotland as a nation and rising them up the ranks. I will say that as Dumbarton get better and we start challenging with Champions Leagues and consistently making Champions Leagues, this will improve. But this kind of just shows at the moment Scottish football on the decline in the save. Scotland has dropped 2 places to 15th position in the European Nation Coefficients table, overtaken by Switzerland and Croatia, which means in 28-29 Champions League places, League Path second qualifying round goes to 1. Champions Path playoff teams goes to 0 from 1, and a Champions Path second qualifying round. So instead of going into just needing to win one game to get into the Champions League, you're now going into the second qualifying round. That is very, very detrimental. Secondly, if you look at profile here, the Scottish Premier was in 9th or 8th. It's now dropped all the way down to 13th. It was previously 10th last season, 9th when we started the save. So it's dropped down from 3.5 stars down to 3 stars, and that's due to the poor performance of Celtic and Rangers in Europe. I like that there is dynamic movement in the game, and that is very good. I did expect Celtic and Rangers to at least find a run somewhere in Europe during our time, but if we have a quick look and filter by the senior team, get that off, and probably Champions League and Europa League. Champions League without a hitch, won 2 games. Ludogorets and Strasbourg lost the rest here, Celtic. Year before that, Champions League got knocked out, went into Europa League, made it to the quarterfinal. Year before that, got knocked out in the Champions League round of 16, which isn't bad, and got knocked out in the group stage back when it was a group. If we go to Rangers, who are the other team that we need to really look at, who did win the league this year, by the way. If we go and filter by Champions League, Europa League, as you can see in the Europa League, they got knocked out in the second round by Getafe. Got knocked out in the Champions League phase pretty easily there, and got into the Europa League round of 16 before running into Atlanta, getting pumped. Lost to Villarreal in the round of 16 too, so only one quarterfinal for one of the two Scottish sides, which is fine, but a lot of not getting out the league phase, not getting out the group phase, failing to get through qualifying. There's a lot of poor results, and I like making sure this is part of the episode because it is a Rise of Nation save. It is a save where I do want the Scottish international job, which, let's just go and have a look at the Scotland international job. Not much is happening there, to be fair. They're sitting 35th instead of 31st or 32nd when I last checked. They're 30th at the start of the save. Not too much movement. As you can see here, they're in qualifying and they beat Estonia and Gibraltar. Maybe they get through their group. That would be huge. But in saying that, there's not really been too much change. I think the more important thing is the Scottish League itself has been failing, and hopefully we can go on a little bit of a run here in qualifying, get into the Europa Conference League phase, and then go deep in that competition to help improve our coefficient for future years. It was always going to probably happen, YouTube, and well, we've just negotiated with West Ham on stream, and Andrea Di Cecco is on his way to West Ham more than likely as well. In the end, they came in offering 1.1 mil up front and, all these things for like 2 mil. We've negotiated them all the way up to 8 mil and have accepted their latest negotiation. Let's run through it. 2.2 mil up front, guaranteed, coming straight into the club's coffers. We get 100% of the transfer revenue as well. 4 mil over 2 years, which is a guaranteed 6.2 million off the bat in this deal. I said I'll take anything probably over 7.5. This is time to go to 8. After he plays 10 games for West Ham, we get a guaranteed 1.4 mil as well. And I think with his potential, and maybe not straight away, but over the next few seasons, I do see him getting at least 10 games for West Ham as well. We also, if he scores 20 goals, get 500k on top. That would bring everything to 8 mil, probably 7.5. The biggest part about this, though, is whatever they sell him on for in the future, we get 25% of the next sale fee as well. That is an absolute monstrous bid for a club like us. And unfortunately, it only leaves us one thing to do, but accept it and sell one of our best players around. These guys are also probably seeing that Ferian's got a bid here as well, but a little bit different here. Yes, it's over the 2 mil that is accepted of fee. This is all just not upfront stuff. And because it's not upfront, even though Juve have offered 1.3 here and be 2.1, etc., I'm probably going to end up rejecting this. Ferian's probably going to get upset, but I want to see if we can get the full 2 mil up front for him too. That means that we're going to need a right winger moving forward. Also probably means we're going to need a goalkeeper, even though I think it's going to be Jay. I said I'll be here with player movements. This is going to be a bit of a drama-filled episode. Checo is on his way, and Ferian is probably out the door too. You, yes, you, follow me on Twitch. You watch all my content live and, of course, all the VODs for all your viewing needs. The Twitch is the place to go, and for funny clips like this.
Can you fucking shut up?
Pietro Pellegrini is a freak, Mum.
Honestly.
Pietro Pellegrini is a freak. We do not need a right winger. De Cecco and West Ham have shook hands at me and said, do you want him back on loan for $0 this year? Yes. Yes, I do. Accept loan back. We're going to have one more year. One more time. One more time. And the beautiful thing is as long as he develops, it's going to be easier for him to get into that West Ham team to give us the money. So we get the money and get him back on loan. Unbelievable. Huge. We go again to Checo. We go again. It's a sad, sad day, boys. A sad, sad day. A hero of the club has gone. Ferian is gone to Lazio for $2 million. Look, and to be fair, deserves his own little part of the episode like Checo did. The main reason we signed him was the potential that we were going to sell him on for that 2 mil. All up front. Got him on a free. It's sensational for the club and its finances. But what a footballer he has been. I do stand by the fact that we have to play Jay Hogarth this year. He has unfortunately dropped a little bit down in terms of potential. but that's maybe just down to the lack that he's played football. If a good goalkeeper becomes available, then yeah, maybe. But I'm going to run, I think, the first half of the year through him. I just think that as a Scottish goalkeeper, he can potentially become a very decent backup moving forward. Now, this could be a mistake, but if I look at him, I think he's a fairly consistent performer. I think he's got 14 one-on-ones, which is not bad, and 15 aerial reach and 6'1". So I think he can come claim a few crosses and develop into a decent keeper. This isn't a long-term solution to the goalkeeper problem, and unlike other positions where I have strengthened, I think keeping the money that we have just got into the football club is huge. That actually puts our balance up at $5 million. That actually puts our transfer budget up at $4 million. And that allows us to go into the wage, and get quite a little bit of money still to go. The team's in a pretty good spot, but I want to keep all the transfers in for when I feel like we're done with business, and I don't think we've done with business just yet. For those wondering about the Conference League, I will recap this, but we've got a Georgian National League side in our first knockout round, and their potential best player is Vitino, who, to be fair, doesn't look as good as what we've currently got. So should be getting through this tie here as well. But Ferian deserved his own part in the video. He's gone for 2 mil. That means we've sold DeCheco on the outs at the moment. Have been DeCheco out for 6.25 mil, upwards of 8.25, and got him back on loan. And we've got in Ferian as well from Lazio. There is a few on the ins there too, but we'll discuss those ins in a second. Apologies for the lack of a camera here, YouTube, for this part, but this has just come in. It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm about to head into bed. As you can see here, we've actually seen a reduction in the prize money in the Premiership moving forward for the next 4 years, and that's because the league has dropped from being inside the top 10 to now 13th in total. That's obviously not a good position to be in, but this is why it's a rise of a nation. We need to bring Scottish football back to its former glory. We need that money back in the league. That basically means that last year when we finished 5th, we got just over 2 mil. It would be 1.89, and there's a little bit less money here, obviously, around for the clubs. Also means the parachute payments have gone down too for relegated sides as well, slightly in reduction. But another bit in this YouTube video about how the Scottish League has dropped off significantly in the first few years of this save, but that makes for more fun in the Rise of Nation, and that's always a good spot to be in. You may be thinking, why is Eintracht Frankfurt on the screen? Well, that's because it's next episode, YouTube. We would be doing a live com to see if we can qualify into the Europa Conference League proper. That's because we've got through the second qualifying round and the third qualifying round, or our first and second hurdle of the 3 that we need in order to get there. Quickly on Frankfurt, they are a fantastic side. They've got 62 mil. They've got Brian Gill as their best player. There's going to be others. We will definitely not be favourites for this, but to get to the 4th qualifying round for a club that was semi-professional 2 years ago isn't a bad thing. It's a pretty big achievement, so I'm very, very happy. The board actually wanted me to be competitive, and they're very pleased with that, and that's very good as well. You guys are mainly here, though. The players, Damien. The players. Yes, I'm about to show you the players. Don't worry about that at all. Let's firstly get into season preview. We were down in 12th. With the signings I've made, we're now in 10th. The game reckons we survive. That's always nice to see. As you can see here, few people that you know, few people that you don't know. Let's go and recap all these guys for you as well. Into the transfers, transfer history. I don't think anything happened towards the end of last season that I need to really say, but Alex Samuel did leave for 60k, and I don't think anyone came in before then. Yes, they did. Okay. First player, you guys will know. It's a man that next year on Football Manager will be unattainable because FM will probably pump his potential up to world class. It is Joel Quansah. I am a Liverpool fan. I do love him a lot. Don't mind the downward arrows. He is fantastic. He's currently got a release fee of 7.5 mil, which picking this guy up on a free and potentially flipping on 7.5 mil next season is probably what's going to happen. Fantastic footballer since coming in, 6'6", which means that our 3 centre backs that we have are 6'6", 6'6", and Smith is 6'2". I'm in dreamland there. For me, I'm pretty old school when it comes to centre backs. They need to be able to run through a brick wall and head everything. They're fantastic. And in a 4-4-2, we're forcing oppositions long. They need to win everything. So I absolutely love it. Let's talk about this season here. We've actually spent money on a player, but let's talk about everything else. Now, you guys know that DeCheco did leave. obviously, and has come straight back in on loan, so we don't need to talk about that. Ferian, obviously, you guys know, left for 2 million. We also sold Gill finally for 250k. No one wanted him at all in the end, so I listed him out. We got offers of like 90k, 80k. In the end, Fm24 in Hungary, 250k. Get the trader out the doors. Didn't want to see him go. And shout out to Carlo, great footballer, left on a free. Let's talk about the players and the ins, because this is what you are here for. We're going to go in chronological order. So, Decheco in and out. But before that happened, we had signed Michel Karavasilis, who was released from Arsenal as one of their youth prospects. Now, Adam Khan has not developed. He's picked up a couple of injuries, and as such, I'm trying to sell him. So we needed a backup left back for Vokins, who, don't get me wrong, I was looking to, maybe if I pick my best 11 here for this, just rotated in a game. Vokins doesn't look the greatest, but Vokins got 5 goals, 5 assists, and is already on a 7.35 this season. I might just stick with him because he's cheap and try and get as much money in at the moment into the football club. Kravavasilis is a Greek under-21 footballer coming from Arsenal. I like signing guys from big football clubs, which we've already done. They've been there in youth or they've been there over time. Very happy to get someone from Arsenal in the doors. If he hits his potential, he's going to be really good. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But he started pretty well for us so far. In the league, not so much, but in Europe, has already got an assist and a goal, which is fantastic. Decheco, we all know, but the player we spent money on is Amadou Sene. Fantastic footballer. The way that I scout Senegalese talent, for people that don't know, is their clubs are, like Generation 4 or, the Oslo Football Academy, etc. They're all amateur clubs, so you can pick them up for free unless they're got a full-time contract, because they do have the ability to. Amadou Sene was tied down to a full-time contract at Danbars. That's where we signed Dosu from in the Paris 13 Atletico save, for people that have been around. Fantastic footballer. I tried to sign his mate Abdoulaye Sissoko, who looked fantastic as well, but unfortunately Sissoko for 205k got him over me, or else we would have had both. But yeah, Sene is fantastic. He's touted as their key player for Senegal now, even though he's not played a game for Senegal, and that's because he looks this good. He has scored goals in the Conference League already, 4 goals in 3 games, but yet to score in the league. I think this guy's going to be sensational. Also, is a very decent player for the Premiership at the moment as well. So let me know what you think of Sene. And then, I've never managed an Indian footballer on Football Manager, but we have an Indian footballer, and he is Sai Shachdev. 36 caps for India, Indian international, and more importantly, 13 long throws. Also a little bit more well-rounded than Carlo, better than Derich, and is a decent footballer. Good, fairly consistent performances, and as you can see here, 6.9 in 2 games. Coming from Sheffield in the English Prem, which isn't a bad thing. Probably not as big of a club as you would like, but yeah, fantastic. Also means we move to a fullback on attack because he's a better defensively minded fullback, and same with Derich. So instead of getting wing-backs looking to get down the line, get to the byline and whip the ball in, getting fullbacks that come into this space and help support Decheco by putting balls down the line or whipping early balls into Sokler, it really seems the fullback role suits people on that right-hand side for us, so we have moved into it. Andy Irvine, fantastic footballer to be picking up. People may know exactly who Andy Irving is, not Irvine, the Formula 1 racing driver. But yeah, this guy, as the box-to-box, is a different level of gravy. 14 long shots, 13 free kick taking, 15 corners, and he runs the show. Already has got 3 assists in the Conference League, 1 assist already in the league. He looks absolutely dynamite, wins the ball back. That next level of centre midfielder. As you can see here, central midfield is probably our weakest area that we have here, but a fairly consistent performer with great dead ball specialists and enjoys a big game. There is a lot of pros. Lastly, Hearts he came through at, which is a decently big club, obviously in Scotland, but he actually was at West Ham the last 2 seasons as well, because they picked him up many moons ago for 1.8 mil in the actual season that we're currently in real life. Played 2 games for West Ham off the bench last year as well. So to get someone that played Premier League football in at Dumbarton is absolutely huge. Adrian Estachio, people may remember, did us over in a couple of games last year at Kilmarnock. He absolutely lit us up in one game where we lost to Kilmarnock 2-1. But a guy that's been in and around in the Scottish leagues, and Kilmarnock have been threatening relegation. 8 goals 3, 5 goals 7, 9 goals 1. That's very consistent sort of numbers. That's more than 10 returns per season there. I think he's fantastic. He's worth 10 to 13 million coming into us, has a $10 million release fee, playing as a winger on that side. I always have said that I prefer a winger role, but inverted winger works well if you got that. I love him as a winger. Naturally quick, people that are 13 or better speed is pretty quick for the league. Very consistent performer yet again. I love having that. I think this 4-4-2 is built on having height, good set piece takers, and people that are consistent and love a big game. If you can do that, it's a Brexit 4-4-2, off you go. Adrian Estacio looks outrageous so far, and he's fantastic. Like you last as someone just as a hot prospect, for 2K, Stefan Oglev. If he grows into his Ogilvy, not Oglev, Ogilvy, Stefan Ogilvy. If it goes into his potential, could be decent. Decent, well-rounded physicals, 5'11", decent mentals, okay technicals. Got to mainly sit in the reserves this year. Maybe get the occasional opportunity to impress, but do a very good job. That means that our best 11 looks like this at the moment. It's Hogarth in goals, but I am scouting goalkeepers, considering I still got 4 mil and a lot of time left in the window. It's the 12th of August. If a goalkeeper comes available, I will take him over Jay. Sachdev. You always say Sanchev. Shachdev, Konsa, Smith for now, Vokins, DeCheco, Sangari for now, but I am signing a midfield. I'm going to show you who I'm signing. Andy, Irving, Estacio, Sene. Sokler got 2 bids for 3 mil from Molde and Almira. He didn't want to go, so we rejected him, which is nice. If I really needed the money, would have sold. But that's pretty good. On the bench, you got Derrich from last year, who, if he hits his potential, still very, very good. Lickett at the moment, fantastic footballer, and we do love a little bit of Lickett. We have Daniel Yanez on the bench as well with Michelle. Cole McKinnon still on the bench, but Jorge Grant, very decent, but down to 2.5 star. Did score a fantastic goal this season, which I'm about to show you. David Montoya has been scoring goals this year in the league, 2-2, and will definitely get more minutes. And Maitland, even though he hasn't scored in the league this year yet, has scored 3 goals in 4 games in the Conference League, which is superb for a kid that if he hits his potential at 6'2" will be fantastic. My big goal this year is just to give him minutes and get his physicals up to 10 and 11 or 11 and 11 for pace and acceleration, and I think he'll be good. So that is the team at the moment. What it means is that we need a goalkeeper. I'm happy to keep Vokins in here at left back, but probably a central midfielder. And I'm just going to show you guys who I've got, probably also another backup centre back. First things first is we've got a bid accepted for Freddie Greco, who would come in and play ball-winning midfielder on support. This guy's a different level of gravy, very mentally well-rounded, got great physicals and speed for this level. As you can see here, fairly consistent performer, and he comes from Serie A Roma. Another big club, love those sort of signings, played a lot of games for Venezia, in and around Serie B, Serie C, but I think he's just ready to come in, the Italian, and take the step up. So he's got a work permit application coming in shortly, so it means he's definitely going to come in. Also on the ins as well is we have got maybe a potential backup goalkeeper or another one. I think Frank Barnes, if he hits his potential, is decent. Put him in the reserve, see how he develops. 6'4". These Americans are always so tall. And we need a backup centre-back. So I've actually gone in for Lewis Hall at $0. Has the potential, very well-rounded, great natural tackling, 6'4" as well. Love the height. This guy will be 4th choice centre-back this year behind Lickett and Smith, and hopefully hits his potential. The main reason I go after these Americans is mainly because if they develop any sort of decent ability, you pick them up for a free and you send them on for a bit of money. I will say this guy wants 3K a week, which is a bit big for us, but it is what it is. We look at the squad here now. We do have people at 6.5 K a week, which is Say Sachdev, which I think is a little bit overs for him, but we needed a right back. Constance on 6.5 as well, has a matching highest earners release fee. We needed that, or else he was going to go somewhere else. And then you can see with the progression of players here, we've got people on 4K, 3K now, which is not bad. We're so used to seeing people only on a K or 2. But that's the progression there. Lastly, you want to know how the season's gone. Well, it's gone not too bad. Pre-season was decent. Did lose to Sheffield Wednesday and Lille. Lille absolutely pummeling us, but it is what it is. But I decided to go with a bigger pre-season. We drew Dynamo BT from the Georgian League. We won 3-1 away. Our first ever goal in the Conference League. Here it is. Shachdev long throw. Back to Shachdev. Taps inside to Irving, Rabona, Grant, goal. Yes. A Rabona goal. Absolutely love it. We then won 3-1. We then won 9-0 here, and we went absolutely ballistic. I'm not going to show you all the goals, but Sene scoring his first ever goal for the club in this game. Consta scoring as well. It was a pretty good day. Malin scoring too. We had a good day out. A very, very good day out. We then drew TNS, and we won 3-0 and 4-1. St. Mirren, we won 3-0 on the opening day, with Grant scoring a fantastic goal here as well. Here he is, Mr. Grant. Show you this goal here. Even at his ripe old age of 33, the club captain still has it in him. Ball gets played into the middle of the park as he's playing box-to-box off the bench here. And one touch, left foot, pick that out. Thank you very much for coming. That is 3-0. We then beat Aberdeen 4-2 in a crazy game here, but I need to show you the goal for Sokler, which was set up by Konsa. Just highlighting it again, this is a Brexit 4-4-2, and long throws, baby. Long throws are key, especially when you've got a centre-back that's 6'6", and has got the neck abilities of a monster, of a Formula 1 driver, and Sokler flicks home for another one, which is fantastic as well, and we knocked out TNS, as you guys see. So next episode, Frankfurt, home and away. It's Resden between Rangers. We'll tell you right now, I'm throwing this Rangers game away. Thank you for checking out this episode. It's a longer episode because so much happened. We've seen TV revenue drop. We've seen new stadium plans announced. We have seen players come in. We've seen big sales go out. There's 5 million in the club. We look fantastic. I'm trying not to spend the money of the 4 mil transfer budget so we can improve the training facilities again. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. Give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Till next time, thank you and goodbye.